Hey guys, welcome back to Round Butte Cooney Ranch. You got Brett here. Emily is on her way with the little goat called Nagpie. Today we are going to talk about this stanchion that I built for Emily to milk the goats. As you can see, it is a standing stanchion that gives us plenty of height. And here comes Miss Nagpie to demonstrate.
She's trying to go there for where she normally goes to eat.
That's her normal area when Emily milks.
There we go. Good girl.
This is Nagpie's first time on the stanchion, so this is kind of a trial run for her. So far, so good. It's about the right height. I'd say I built this for Bambi, specifically at her height for milking.
It's okay.
Like I said, it's her first time, so she's a little bit of a newbie here. We might have to make an adjustment on this upper rack here because, like I said, I built it for Bambi, but I think it's going to work for her small head.
Bambi's 2.5, whereas she's not even a year right now.
Yeah, she's a young one, so let's get right into the stanchion. Start at the beginning. As you can see, I had to build this ramp to get up because I mentioned earlier this is a standing stanchion because Emily felt it was much easier to stand to milk than to kneel or squat. And I have to say I'd agree with her because I believe it's much easier to stand to do this type of work than it is to bend over and squat.
Well, with my back especially, I have a spinal fusion at, pigs want to make some noise. I have a spinal fusion at L5, S1, and that makes it especially hard for me to sit. So standing is easier for me than sitting.
So to accommodate, like I said, we built a taller stanchion. I went online to watch YouTube videos, and there's 1,000 of them out there that everybody knows how to make a stanchion, but none of them were standing stanchions. They were all really low to the ground. Some of them were even more than 6 inches off the ground. So I took a couple ideas and then just kind of winged it based off of what I know. I built a stanchion in the past, years back, but they're pretty simple. As you can see, everything we used here was reclaimed. This is all reclaimed lumber that was here on the farm. So there was no purchase price. We used some leftover linoleum from a remodel because Emily felt it'd be much better to have a nice smooth surface like this for cleanup afterwards. And she's right. I think this makes a big difference. Instead of raw wood there, this just wipes right down.
We added this linoleum, I think it was about 3 weeks into milking. At first we were doing raw wood, and I thought, you know what? I was seeing it up in the corner of the shop, and I thought, let's staple this down and see how it works, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a good decision. So on that, what we did is, as you can see, the base of this stanchion, this is just 2x6 framing, 2x4 legs, and the height is about, I think it's about 29 inches. So we just took a nice piece of linoleum and draped it over the side here and stapled it down. So it is easily removable. Didn't staple up on top, so there's no holes, no penetrations, nothing for hooves to get caught in. So yeah, that worked out well. And as you can see, just 2x4 legs, no cross supports, just straight down. I used 2.5 inch screws. When I build anything, I use screws. I don't nail anything together anymore. That way everything is removable, rebuildable, because you always seem like you have to make a change or want to make a change, and I did with this on a couple different things. Same thing with the shelf. No cross supports, just upper brackets right here. I just used 2x2s on that side and over again on this side. Screwed in with 2.5 inch screws, hex head screws. And as you can see, this very sturdy. When I first built this, before I ever put a goat on it, I actually walked up the ramp myself, 250 pounds. up the ramp, stood up on the stanchion, and actually jiggled and wiggled side to side and jumped up and down. Because I figured if it would hold me, it's going to hold a goat. And I believe Bambi was only 130 pounds.
When we weighed her last, she was 117 pounds. She's a Nubian.
117. So we'll never have a goat on this stanchion that weighed more than me. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to hold up over time. You can see these are all reclaimed. You can see by the color of this wood. This is very old reclaimed lumber. Very tight grain. Went together really nice, and it's super solid all the way across. Had to do a little modification up here to these boards because the end board is a 2x4 and these center locking boards are also 2x4s. It wanted to stick up in here. So I just sanded this down a little bit. So now these boards slide. And on the bottom, you just put a lag bolt. That's a 3-inch lag bolt with a washer on it. So you got movement on both sides. A lot of the stanchions that I saw, guys built them, and one of the boards they kept screwed in up here at the top. So this one of the two boards wouldn't move. It was stationary and locked into place. And the other board would go side to side. I didn't really like that idea. I thought it'd be a better idea to just put up here, I put a center support. That keeps this board from going too far over. And I spaced it at 2 inches over here so this board can only go so far on both sides. So essentially, it doesn't allow any side-to-side movement. As you can see, it'll only go right there. So it gives the goat about 1 inch or 1.5 inch movement on each side. So it allows them some comfort, some movement, but they're still, even this little goat, well, she's tiny. Her neck's probably only 2.5 inches. And we just used a chain, again, leftover chain with this ornate little hook, I guess. So we just hooked that in like that.
It's a little bit bigger than a cup hook, I'd call it.
Yeah. Again, something that we found on the farm. Everything here we reused, so except with the exception of the screws. Had to buy the screws, but
this bucket up here, I actually purchased that at our local thrift store right here. I think it's a hospital bucket. I think I purchased that for, it was either 25 or 50 cents. It's Sister Sally's. It promotes Safe Harbor is where all the money goes towards. I purchased that in downtown Ronan.
and this was something we had a little discussion about was, did we want this permanent? Because this, like she said, this is just like a Tupperware, really thin plastic. And I just put 2 screws with big fender washers to hold it down. And as you can see, this has been like this since the day we first started, and it's still here and it's still functioning properly. The only downside is you got to take the 2 screws out if you want to clean the bin or whatever you want to do with it. So a lot of folks, they built this tray with walls and front sides, and then their compartment just sat in there and it was movable. But what we found out, what I believe with Bambi when we started, she could get a little ornery in here and had a tendency she'd pick through to try to find the specific food she wanted. So at times, to start with, she got a little frisky in here and really threw this thing around. But Emily's made some changes to the diet, or to the feeding program here.
And what you can see is, to begin with, we started out with dry grain. Now what I do is I take 3 scoops of the dry grain, and I put 1 scoop of water
She really likes that.
to it, and I let it soak overnight. Talk about spoon feeding.
Yeah.
And then I let it soak overnight, and then I fluff it. You can kind of see the goats, both of them do the same thing, is they kind of push the alfalfa pellets out of the way. They have dried alfalfa and kind of a fermented haylage alfalfa in the barn that they eat overnight. So for the pellets, they're kind of like, we don't want alfalfa pellets in here. Well, we can get it later. Are you done? Are you done there, Nikki?
We got a visitor coming up to say hi.
Well, I
Hey,
think
girl.
She's about done. She's about done with her patients.
So, yeah, I think, again, from what I witnessed and watching the milking process, Emily changing the food up here and wetting it down made a huge difference. Bambi used to eat so fast, and she was pretty pretty aggressive with her eating. And now with this mixture the way it is, she's really toned down. She's mellowed it out, and she eats at a nice slow pace. Gives Emily plenty of time to get all the milking done. So that's pretty much it. We walked through the stanchion build and kind of showed you guys what we did. It's like I said, it's pretty basic. It was really cheap because we were able to salvage the lumber, and it's really secure and sturdy. And I get one look here, just like we keep talking about standing height, and that'll give you an idea of where Emily, when she milks,
I'm 5'3".
So it's just a reach straight in. There's no stooping or anything. So it really has made it more
Here's
comfortable.
my belly button. Look, and she's about done, so why don't I go ahead and unhook her, and we can go ahead and get her walking off here. Again, she is, I believe she was born in, what was it, April? She's Nubian with a tiny bit of Nigerian in her. So she is not full grown again. This is Miss Snake Pie. Can you say hi to everybody? All right, Naggy, come on, let's go walk down. Come on, walk down. There you go. So I want to thank you all for joining us again at, thank you again for joining us at Round View Cooney Ranch, and hope to see you all again soon.
Have a great day.